Hello there, lads and ladies. Welcome back to the second episode of the World Cup. Again, forgive me if I didn't cover South Africa and France. It was kind of a one and done game with France. You know, South Africa weren't really the favourites to do well against France, unfortunately, so I thought it wasn't really worth recording, you know. But with Australia and New Zealand, this is a more interesting game due to the fact that Australia came out strong in the first half. They came up to 17 points, and New Zealand finally fought back. Like at the end of the first half, they were able to get a try. I believe 2 tries, and then it just built on from there basically. So the score we're on now is we're on the 72nd minute. Australia have 17 points and New Zealand have 36. It's still possible for Australia to at least get 1 or 2 more tries, but to win this game, it's very unlikely. But Australia have shown very, very good determination, and they've shown very good heart going into this, being able to come out against the 2017 World Champions and you know, show them that they're there to fight, really, basically, which is interesting. I really do feel for the Australian lasses, because my cousins in Australia are probably watching this right now and enjoying themselves, being able to see Australia dominate in certain sports like cricket and all that, and then come to rugby and it's kind of like, ugh, you know, it's not kind of the same really, but they're still doing well. Australia have done very well to at least give them 3 tries worth. It's just they're going against New Zealand at the end of the day. They're going against the Black Ferns. And it's nice to see that they've actually got a coach which allows them to be themselves and allows them to, you know, have faith in themselves again. Because their previous coach was a bit of an arsehole. And now New Zealand are about to try again by the looks of it. Yep, they just ran around the outside. And that's a try for New Zealand. 41-17 New Zealand. A very gorgeous pass off to the winger, and she just ran around the defence like nothing. I like what the crowd's got in their hands. They've got like this ball. They've got like this black string with this ball on the end of it, which they spin around in circles. I don't know what it's called. They kind of it's something to kind of like lift the spirits of the Black Ferns spirit, basically. So I'm down for that now, nonetheless, really. I'm always down for cheering for your country and giving them everything you got, really.
The confidence to take it upon herself. Ruby Tui.
Let's try.
She's personality plus, but she's got the substance to back up everything.
New Zealand are looking very good this year.
Sets Eden Park alight.
This is the reason why we only see New Zealand and France as our strongest competitors, really, because of their sheer force that they bring into this. Surprised they didn't get a bigger number, you know, but this is New Zealand at the end of the day. You know, they don't rush into the corner to try and all that crap. They think about what they do, really. That kick could not make it, unfortunately. It's like right at the edge of the field, so, you know. They're not that easy to do. Like, corner conversions are not easy to do. Kind of took over a lesson from the last recording as well. Instead of you guys looking up at me and looking into my nostril hairs and all that, I apologise for that, by the way. You know, no one wants to see that. So I've decided to set up the camera on the side of the table so you guys can enjoy my reaction to this very good sport. Nice turnover. Australia were completely befuddled there. They allowed the Black Ferns to get on top of them.
Taking their big ball runners out of the game, the Black Ferns. Grace Hamilton, we haven't seen her be.
Surprised they played the halfback. Don't see that that often. Nice, they made the line as well. Not that many penalties conceded as well. Australia have 5 penalties conceded, whilst New Zealand only have 1. Nice to see. Nice to see a game where there's not that many penalties, really. And a game that mostly relies on possession over certain areas and stuff like that. Like, because you would kick for distance and kick for possession, really, in rugby. Whereas some teams can't kick for possession, so they have to rely on set plays. And that was a knock-on by New Zealand after a very nasty tackle. It's advantage for Australia at the moment.
They will want something else out of this Australia. They were so good.
Should have passed that off. They're all in the centre. They could have ran to the wing. They've now told the girls on the Blackburn side to go down to the wing, so they've got that covered. They've got it back now. Passing it down to Woodman.
And others, Tubic. Oh, the passes are sticking, the offloads.
Nah. The passes were smooth up to that point. They were just about to toss the winger and she dropped it. She didn't drop it, she didn't even catch it. Shame. It was a very good first half for Australia. They did very well. I think the last time I ever got into an Australian game, I think, was back in 2015, I think, when Australia faced New Zealand for the World Cup final. What's funny about that game is that my uncle came over from Australia with his sons, and me and him went to go watch the rugby match at this random bar. I was all kitted out in the the All Blacks gear, and he wore his Wallaby shirt and all that. It was an interesting experience. And the guys in the pub, when the haka came on, they started doing it, so I thought, sorry, I'll just join in. I joined in with them, did the haka, and we all like hugged it out, had a drink and all that shit, and he's in the corner just drinking his fucking beer, like pissed off that I could betray him like that. I'm like, mate, you're not even Australian, you're British, you're English, mate. It's one of your sons, only one of your sons is Australian, mate. Come on, don't forget where you come from. But no, you know, you can support whoever basically, especially if you're a neutral. And that game I wasn't neutral. It was only fair because 2015 was probably England's worst year when it came to qualifying for the World Cup basically. I don't even think we made it to the qualification stages. I think Wales beat us and that knocked us out. That's alright because in 2019 we came back quite strong to beat the All Blacks in the semi-finals, to then unceremoniously lose to the South Africans. Hopefully next year we'll have better luck. Still 41-17 to New Zealand. Not much has happened apart from a couple of fumbles. They've been making more fumbles at the end here because they're trying new stuff, which is why I quite like to watch the Barbars game, because at least with the Barbars game, you know, the Barbarians, it's quite fun to watch them do these very unique, fun little set plays. Like there was this one time someone took a conversion or a drop goal, but instead of normally drop goaling it, they kind of like use the back of their heel to kick it over the post. Never seen that before, never done before. It was just so nice to see. Especially that one year where Chris Ashton, he got dropped for the, I think it was either the Lions squads, you know, whenever we go over to face New Zealand, Australia or South Africa, you know, for the Lions tour. And he got pissed off about that. It was either the Lions tour or the English tour. And Australia have broken the line here. They could probably go for another try here. No, there's no one there to defend her, but they've come in time just to save her ass. Yeah, the interesting thing with that is that they picked him to be part of the Barbars squad, and then they beat England mercilessly, and then they passed it off to Chris on the last try, and then he gladly took it and did like a huge swan dive into the English half. His signature swan dive, I love the way he tries. He's such a brilliant rugby player. Oh, they played off their feet. We're into the red. Now, New Zealand could just end this game, but I think they might go for another play if we're lucky. It'd be nice to see them at least try and get 68-17. You know, increase that. Oh no, they've ended it. That's a shame. Probably not. We're done. We're done. 41 points. We're fine. Thanks. Thanks for the win, Aussies. Nice. Well done. Well done, Black Ferns. Nice try. Australia. Nice try, Wallaroos. Well, good game to the Black Ferns. Well, very good game, very interesting. It's a nice start to the World Cup at the moment. We've still got Australia and Italy to go. Actually, let me have a look. Let me just have a look, because I'm pretty sure we have 2 other games as well, like sometime early next morning. Well, for me in the morning, but for you guys, you're probably sleeping right now in New Zealand, so you'll probably be waking up soon later to watch the matches, basically. Let me see. Yep, United States versus Italy. Japan versus Canada. That's going to be interesting. Because Canada, they played in the final back in 2014 against England, and we were able to win that one. But I don't know how Japan is going to handle, because Japan did very well. They actually beat an awful lot of good sides. Well, good in matter of fact of experience, basically, because Ireland and Wales, I think, are quite experienced, whilst Ireland is a little bit on the nose of improvement, basically. But still, it's nice to see Japan actually do okay against these teams. And then we got Wales versus Scotland. That's going to be interesting. I think for the Welsh game and the Scottish game, I think Scotland will take it, but it will be close. It'll be a close fight. It's always the underdogs that give the most interesting rugby matches, because with the Fiji game and the French game and the New Zealand game, you know who's winning those games. I mean, Australia got really close. They got very close, Australia, but yeah, it kind of like fell away from them in the second half after the 2 yellows that was awarded to Australia for the amount of penalties they were doing, and the high tackle on one of the lasses. So, it's always good to like watch where you're tackling, basically. Always go for the waist. That's a lesson we always teach our rugby players, whenever we play rugby, is if you want to tackle someone, if you can aim for the legs, sure, but the legs could always slip out of your hands and all that. If you want to tackle, aim for the hip, aim for the hip area, like the pelvis region here, because you can see wherever his leg is bent in whatever direction, the direction he's going to go into, and then when you hit right in the middle of the pelvis area, you bring him down like a brick, like a sack of bricks or a sack of potatoes, basically. That's just a nice lesson to learn whenever you do tackling in rugby, basically. That was one of the first things I learned about rugby when I was tackling, so especially when you're against big boys, you really want to get right into the pelvis region. It gives them a nice whiplash feeling to the genitalia, so it gives them like, oh no, so they had to like really defend themselves, so they have to fend off as much as possible, and that slows them down, and then it gets more people in to help you take them out, basically. So it's just interesting, really. I do miss my rugby. But yeah, that was the second episode. I will probably cover United States because they are so interesting to watch, especially against Italy. Italy have been quite doing very well, especially within the Six Nations after beating a couple of teams in that sector. And what team are they? Yeah, and America have been doing good as well. They've had some good warm-up games against certain teams, and especially against England, they showed promise, giving us a couple of tries in return, basically. So it'll be nice to watch that game, and I'll definitely be keeping a lookout for Wales and Scotland. But you'll probably won't see that until tomorrow. So until then, thank you all so much for joining me yet again. It's been an interesting time. It's going to be so good to watch this World Cup. It's going to be really interesting to see who's going to do well in the qualifying stages. Well, in the preliminary stages, I should say. Qualifying comes much later on. So, yes, with that, lads and ladies, thank you ever so much for joining me, and I'll see you on whatever I next do around here. Take care, my friends.